Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming. I want to introduce Brian McManus of CyberSource. Tell you a little bit about Brian. Brian is currently Director of Product Management for CyberSource.
And Authorized.net.
What?
And
Oh,
Authorized.net.
and Authorized.net and Visa. He was also head of developer experience, and he's also an architect and an engineer. And he's going to be speaking to you today about trend watch consumer behavior shifts in payments. So, welcome, Brian.
Thank you, Craig. Everybody can hear me, I'm assuming. Okay. I know there's some people coming in, but I'll keep going. Yeah, so shift in payments, notable trends. Oftentimes talks I give are pretty detailed and in-depth around payments and payments integrations, but during those I often spend a lot of time actually talking about payments, kind of 101 payments fundamentals, which I love doing as well, and developers get a lot out of that. But for this talk, really I wanted to take it up another level again and just talk about some really high-level trends, and really, what Magento merchants, Magento customers, Magento developers could do to take advantage of seeing those trends, maybe a little bit ahead of the curve. As Craig said, I'm an ex-engineer, still always an engineer probably, a developer on both the CyberSource and Authorized.net platforms, moved into product management, again on both platforms, and responsible really for everything platform, so APIs and developer experience, SDKs, the whole works there. I'm not going to really leave that slide up too long, give anything away, but some of the trends that we're seeing, obviously we track a tremendous amount of data, and CyberSource and Authorized.net are both owned by Visa, so a very big pipe of data. And what we're seeing really with fraud management is that we're doing a pretty good job. The payment service providers, the fraud management tools have really evolved quite a bit. So fraud, has been pretty steady online. There's obviously talk about a move online from card-present fraud with the introduction of EMV. We haven't seen that yet, but what we do know is that the rules-based systems that we're using, that we're providing, are pretty effective. The data sets that they're working on are huge and growing. Everybody knows about the rise of big data, and the models are more and more sophisticated every day in terms of the learning behavior there. So still two of the most adopted and most effective RCVN and AVS for fraud prevention. But really, the key is to have a good rules-based system in there. There's no product pitches here, but I will say, there's options both in the small business and the enterprise there. Something like Authorized.net, just using an example, our FDS product, I used to always tell people at this conference that it was the best $10 a month you'll spend. It's not even $10 anymore, it's free. So there's no reason to not be using that. And the great thing about that is it pipes into the bigger enterprise system of CyberSource. And they have a product called Decision Manager, which is really, really sophisticated. I would encourage you as well to look, check out the CyberSource Fraud Report. If you just Google CyberSource Fraud Report, the link's there. It's an awesome read. It's not heavy going by any means. A lot of infographics and really, really good information. It's a fantastic report. And it's widely cited every time it comes out every year. So the takeaway there is that, you don't want to be doing that manual review of orders. If you look at large merchants that we see, they're reviewing about 1 in 10, whereas you look at some of the smaller merchants and they're reviewing like something 2 in 5 or something like that. So there's a big contrast between the number of orders that are going through the rules-based systems, and I would encourage small businesses to look at trying to use those systems more. DM Replay, I won't go into that, but it's an awesome tool for larger merchants in terms of running those models. Growth of cross-border. This is, it's a huge, if you've got a long-term strategy, cross-border's, phenomenally important. My aunt in Northern Ireland has a little shoe store, and I just found out last year that her son was selling shoes, like marquee British shoes, like Barker and Clark's, to China. And China's not up here, but 1/3 of active online shoppers in China are doing cross-border or purchasing from outside the border. So, that's a huge market. And you can see the numbers here. Chain reaction cycles. Has anybody heard of chain reaction cycles? Yes, a few nods. Bit more than my auntie's shoe store. But they started out as literally, we talk in small business about a mom and pop store. They literally started out as a husband and wife bike shop, like just outside Belfast in Northern Ireland. And in 2013, they were the world's largest online bike shop. So, that's the power of cross-border. The one thing I think that, takeaway for you guys is that, e-commerce is inherently global. Magento, if it's your first time at Imagine or you've been here a few times, you know how global of a conference it really is. Developers from all over the world. So, what we're seeing is that, the startups that are here around, some of the disruptors and the incumbents, they're solving a lot of those complex shipping problems, and you just need to make sure that your payment system is able to handle those as well. And we're talking about things like, being able to handle issuing local currency from a foreign issued bank, or foreign issued currency from a foreign issued card. The shipping ones as well. Fraud rules need to be able to handle, so they know, that's not a fraudulent transaction coming in from somewhere. It's a valid one. MSPs, merchant service providers there. I will take questions at the end, by the way, but if you want to jump in, do, but the time's pretty short, so I do want to get through these. OmniCommerce. There's a huge expectation. REI, large retailer in Seattle, even the small independents, Evo.com in Seattle, it's all about OmniCommerce for them. Even, when the small one, I say Evo.com, they're using all their online data to decide exactly what street they're going to put a bricks and mortar store on. And then when they do that, the experience between the two is fantastic. And OmniCommerce is a bit of a buzzword. I like to say customer. Mark Lavelle talked about customer experience this morning, and you hear that a lot at this conference, customer experience. So you want to really make sure that, in your payment systems, the customer is the central piece of that, so that you can really take advantage of that. A couple of examples here at the show even. We've got, Magento in a way is helping to centralize that. And then, at the channels, if you think of some partners of ours, you've got eBizmarts that are there, and they're surfacing the Magento catalog in a point of sale, with EMV support and things like that. And then you've got another partner of ours, Unbound Commerce, here. They're surfacing the merchant inventory in an in-app mobile application. So, if you take care of customer, and you always know the customer that was doing those transactions, you need to take advantage of that tokenization for PCI compliance as well. You'll be able to make sure that you're treating that customer the same, and that customer, whether they've walked into a store or they're online. How am I doing for time? Not too bad. So digital payments, digital commerce is a big one. A bit of a straw poll, a little bit of audience interaction. Who's used show of hands, who's used Apple Pay here? Who's used Apple Pay in an app as opposed to at a store? A few less people, okay. Visa checkout? Not too many. Samsung Pay or the Google Pay, like the same equivalent on your phone. You guys have used that, okay. And Uber. Who's used Uber? A lot more, okay. And I think it was Steve Fusco that mentioned Uber this morning. I mean, the payment experience is really, really, fantastic there. I think he had a good phrase, which is, we say a lot as well, which is, consumers, they love buying stuff, but they hate paying for stuff. And he used the example of, of taking out the cash, and that's the point of friction. That's where you say, oh, I'm really paying for this, when you're in a store, as opposed to maybe tapping or something like that. And online, the friction form, if you like, the filling in of the details is that point online. It's the equivalent of cash. It's where you're like, oh no, I'm really paying for this now. So for anybody that used, show of hands again for Apple Pay in-app. Okay, I'm gonna ask you. So what was the app?
Delivery.
And how was the payment experience?
It was really good. It's so convenient, really good.
So convenient and really, really quick. I mean, you mix contextual commerce and digital payments. I mean, it's just a heady mix for like customer delight. And I'm a pretty cynical buyer, but I mean, during demos, something like on Pinterest, I was buying things in demos inadvertently because it was just like, it was so easy. I was expecting there to be more to do. And I was sort of saying, right, I'll stop this demo short here and it'll save me, I won't be buying anything. And the next thing, something was arriving at my house and my wife was going, why did you buy that block print or whatever, of something on Pinterest? So, digital commerce, it's been proven, to be a real lift at the checkout. And again, I'm not pitching for us or for partners, but if you want to see the Unbound Commerce app and you want to see an example of like Apple Pay and Visa checkout and just the standard checkout in-app, it is a really fantastic experience. Okay, so the wallets I think are going to be a real game changer there in terms of not having to put in your all your details again and again and again online. So Internet of Things. It's this one, is at the far end. We started out with with fraud, mundane but very important. This is very forward-looking, or you might think it's very forward-looking. But has anybody seen the Amazon Dash buttons? Anybody used the Amazon Dash buttons? Yeah. I don't think they have one for Scotch quite yet, but you do feel like they're. I was in a conference where they showed that, and the guy next to me said, "Do they have one for Scotch?" But I mean, that's Internet of Things. That's a connected device. It might look like a little plastic button, but it's a Wi-Fi connected device, and it might be stuck to your washing machine for your powder, but it's effective. It's just a click away from your washing machine ordering its own Tide or whatever. Apple Pay, they announced sort of extending that digital payments in a way. You probably saw that they announced paying at the gas station with Apple Pay. ExxonMobil announced that. Now you still have to go out and tap. But again, it's not that far away from the car driving up and the car being the device. The cars will all be connected pretty soon. I don't know if you've seen, if anybody's been at a conference where they've seen the Visa connected car. It's pretty awesome. And they have this demo where you walk onto a lot and the car actually, you do everything from the signing of the contracts, everything like that, and you drive the car away. And they have a bunch of other, demos there. But, the idea that the car is going to be connected, that's not that far out there. And I think the other thing with Internet of Things, it's an opportunity. I think, many people were caught behind with mobile, and I think they mentioned it a couple of times today, mentioned last year and even the year before here, I'd imagine, but, it's still taking a while to sink in, and I think if you get caught behind mobile, it's definitely worth looking to see other opportunities in your business, for any Internet of Things, and make sure that your payments provider is is able to deliver those solutions. Thank you.